are here today with James from Dishumane.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So finally, we did it.
So how's your day? How is it going?
It's going pretty good so far. I was pretty excited to come on your guys' podcast.
Oh, thanks. We are really
Yeah,
honored to have you here.
yeah, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
honored to be here too.
Thanks. I mean, as usual, I would like to ask you if you could introduce a little bit of yourself, about the band, and I mean, how also did you approach music in general when you were, a kid or something,
Oh
and then
yeah.
how did you approach metal
You
or?
need to go back.
Yeah, you need to go back a little
Yeah. Well, so when I was like 5 years old, I was exposed to a tiny underground band named AC/DC, and when I was 5 years old, I loved that stuff, and I started playing guitar and stopped playing guitar because I lost interest. But then I discovered Exodus, Slayer, Celtic Frost, Bathory, Sepultura, all this, and then I was like, oh, I want to play guitar again. So I had a big thrash phase. I was very into thrash metal and death thrash especially. So, Morbid Saint as well was huge for me. Creator,
Yes,
huge,
yes.
huge. Love Creator. So the thrash stuff, and then had a little black metal time too. And then, but what really hit me was hearing Morbid Angel for the first time, and then Incantation, obviously, and all these other bands like Malevolent Creation and Deicide as well, and then more obscure stuff like Morpheus Descends, stuff like that. I just loved these bands and some of the brutal death metal too, a little bit, actually a lot of bit into that as well. The whole project has been kind of like, how do we perfectly mix old school death metal with like ripping brutal death metal, like Disgorge and stuff like that, Deeds of Flesh. How do you merge the two together? And we're trying to do that.
Yeah.
And as far as the band, I met a guy on eBay because I used to buy like original albums, and he
Oh,
ended up being a drummer from the 90s, and he played with some of the guys in Drawn and Quartered, and hooked up with him, and we're like, hey, we can probably make something pretty good. So
sure.
yeah, and Dishumane, another side note, before it was Dishumane, it was called Sadistic Malevolence, and it started as a black and thrash project as well. So,
Yeah. So
and we're here
okay.
today.
Wow,
So
super
it was
nice.
like a little different thing at the beginning.
Yeah, so the band before was like black thrash, so
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
just for this, I just want to ask you if you can walk us through the band's origins. So
Mm.
how
Mhm.
the idea behind this human just
Came
came.
out and yeah, first
Okay.
people,
Yeah, so technically the band's been an idea for many years. It's not a recent idea.
yeah.
So it starts off, so my true love of metal, I love all types of metal, but like my true love is death metal. Like, I mean, there's just nothing like it to me. So,
We agree.
so I kind of, when I was doing like black and thrash, I kind of was like, I need to be making death metal. Like that's where I feel at home. So,
Yeah.
I got the idea to make this humane, and I kind of was, and my drummer Dave, he was a death metal drummer too, so it was kind of natural, and we basically, I wrote all these songs on my own, like all by myself. I have a ton still that aren't out, but save that for another time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But but I flew out to Seattle to meet up with this drummer Dave, and we actually, Guitar Center there, it's a pretty famous guitar center. They used to rent out studio time, and we uh we went to the studio and we played, and it was like that. Like the chemistry was perfect. We didn't really need any time to practice. We just instantly started playing, and
Yeah.
um funny story about that is that Guitar Center took away that ability to go rehearse there after we played there because we played way too loud to the point where the store was being bothered by all the noise. So I took that as a compliment though.
Yes,
And
I was gonna say that.
and when we realized that we were doing something kind of good is when these people in the store were coming up to the room and they were listening outside of the door. And when we would walk out, they were like, "Wow, that's you guys. That's really cool." And it was just kind of the first experience we had to like, oh, people actually liked what we're playing, so it was kind of cool. And we kept up and we kept in communication, and then I'm sorry, is this story too long?
No, 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 no,
Or
No,
no.
no,
that's good?
Please,
please
just
go
Okay,
ahead. No,
okay.
no, no.
I just want to
We
make
like long
sure.
stories. Yes, yes,
Okay,
no.
okay. So we would go back and forth, a lot of bands these days, it's hard to meet everybody close by, the perfect fit for a band, so you kind of have to fly places or travel to get like the right
yeah.
people, but in my experience, but then I went to I went going to New York was a big deal, and I remember I was going to see Incantation in New York, and they were playing with Mortician, Pyrexia, stuff
Oh,
like that. It was a pretty good show too. But
Yeah.
I got there, and I remember my drummer Dave. He was like, "What if you could like hook up with those Incantation boys?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm gonna try to get some stuff signed and stuff,
yeah.
because I'm a
Yes.
huge fan of Incantation." And I ended up talking to Charlie, who's their live drummer, and he does a ton of stuff for the band. And I told him about my band, and he was just like, "Hey, you should come out." And I just got an invitation to come out and record. I was like, "Wow, what?" Like it kind of took me off guard. I was like, "Wow," and then I got a bunch of songs ready, and I worked really hard, and that was the first time I was like, oh man, like the workload, like I was a little bit stressed because I was like, this was my first time like getting songs that needed to be completely ready for the studio. And Charlie was great to work with, and he killed, he did the drums on the first EP, and he did
Wow.
an insane job. And
Yeah.
I remember we were in there and we recorded everything pretty much live, so we were playing together through the recording. We did it old school. We didn't do all the modern techniques really. We kind of just recorded it like that, and it felt really natural, and it was very, very cool experience to live through that, and it was very real and raw, and it was like 12 hours a day of just pure recording. It was a
Wow.
lot, and I remember sitting in the room and playing bass, and I'm not a great bass player. I'll be honest with everybody. So I remember playing the bass, and my guitar brain thought like, oh, I'm gonna play the bass like I play the guitar, but the bass is a special, unique instrument. So he's like, hey, I'm gonna put you in contact with Chuck Sherwood, and then Chuck ended up playing bass on the EP, and um, he killed that too. And then me and Chuck became actually really good friends. So he's just a good buddy at this point. And we came up with all the music, and we didn't get to do the vocals. So then I go to Portland next time, and I do all the vocals, and that was a whole other thing. And yeah, we'll get more into that, but that's the basis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Wow,
amazing,
that's
honestly.
amazing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you were mentioning, I mean, before, like when we were talking before the live, like you were saying that the process is way longer, than the recording and blah blah. So, how does it
Yeah.
work for you? Like, how do you compose? Like, what is the process usually like? Do you come with a I don't know, guitar riff and or some drum pattern or some concept, and then you develop it? How is your process in general?
Oh, my process is pretty, I feel it a lot. So it's something I have an opposite thing of a lot of musicians I've met. So a lot of them when they feel bad or like depressed or angry, they make great music. I actually I know it doesn't sound like it from the music, but I make my best music when I'm feeling really good actually. So so
Yeah.
it's a little different for me. But uh the way I do it is that it starts with like one riff. It's all about the riffs for me. So like the
Yes.
guitar is everything for me,
Yeah.
and so I just think of riffs, and then I transition, and I songwriting is very important to me, and it's not a diss to any death metal bands, but sometimes there's a lot of death metal bands where songwriting kind of takes a back seat, because they want to be maybe as heavy as possible, which is cool. That's a cool thing to do too. But
Yeah.
I write songs in a very s- I don't know, they're very structured, and I like to have every part stand out so you know that this is the next part and it's not just all bleeding together. And
Yeah. Yeah.
if and the rule that I have with my guys is that if we play a riff or we play a part and we're not laughing after we played it, it's not good enough to make it. It's not good enough. So it
Yeah.
has to be good. It has to be natural. And I have my opinions, and I think that something that happens with some bands is that over time, because you hear everybody say it, like, why was their first and second album like so perfect, and then the band got, kind of mediocre? And I think it's I think it's because they start needing to do it instead of like they want to, and you have
Yeah.
to want
Yeah.
to make a really good song or a death metal song or any music really, like it has to be, you have to want to, so
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, it has to come from inside, not because you have to sit down and write. It's just that, yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
totally.
people don't use the term often, but like I've only heard two other people say this, and I've always thought this, but death metal has a lot of soul to it, in my opinion. There's a lot of
Yeah.
heart in this music, and some people, when I say soul, they're like, oh, death metal soul, like it's like, yeah, it has a lot of heart, man. Like
Yeah.
you can tell, it's a music genre, you can really tell when a band's into it and when they're not into it. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. And also, if I can ask you, which bands inspired you, like mostly for writing your songs? Is there something,
Mhm.
yeah, that you can say, okay, I was uh, basically inspired from that band from the beginning until now?
Yeah, I have to name a few if that's okay. Yeah,
Yes, of
so
course.
Yeah, so number one, I'm gonna obviously give the biggest shout out to Incantation, because Incantation was like life changing death metal to me. When I heard Onward to Golgotha and Mortal Throne of Nazarene, I
Sure.
was just like, the music to me transcended just being fun concert death metal. It was like this music was like, it was like bending, like it was mind bending. I don't know how to say it, but it was
Yeah.
just
Yes.
completely different. And Deicide was huge on me too. The first two Deicide albums, Glenn Ben's vocals. It was mainly the vocals, and those riffs that are spinning and winding. The first Deicide stuff was crazy because for me, death metal was always about being unhinged and about being aggressive and in your face and angry. And I just love his vocal. I mean, who doesn't
Yeah.
though? And then um, smaller band, Morpheus Descends was very big for me. I have to mention those guys. So those three are pretty big death metal wise, but like as far as like what inspired me from the beginning, I will always stick with my favorite band other is Bathory. It's my only tattoo for a reason. It's the only one worth getting for me. And Creator was huge to me too. Creator's a very driven band, and I kind of write my songs to make like the riffs have to be really good the whole song. Like there can't be a moment where the riffs are just like this is
Agree.
boring. It's
Yeah.
so the riffs have to be picking up. Every time there's a moment of downtime, it can't stay too long. It has to leave and go on. So
Yeah.
that, and then I gotta say Deeds of Flesh too, that was a big one. And Disgorge a little bit because on the single there's a few people saying they noticed some Disgorge moments and I was like, oh, that's super cool. I love when people notice like the influence, so it's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And usually you like, I mean, it's still a little bit related to what I asked before, but like when you compose, you are in a specific place, like in your location, or maybe sometimes on the bus, you're like, oh, I have to record this, like blah blah blah, and then
Mhm.
and stuff. Like, do you need like, I mean, you need a positive mood for sure, as I understood, but I mean, do you have a
Yeah.
specific moment that you sit down or?
Oh, it's just randomly throughout the day I will get an idea and I open my phone and I say it with my mouth and I just it sounds really bad with my voice, but I remember it though, and that's the important part.
I
Yes,
did the same
yes.
like 2 days ago, and I felt really like stupid in front of people just singing on my phone. But it was
Yeah,
the only way to do it. Yeah,
yeah, you have to do it though because the
absolutely.
ideas leave so fast, they're gone
Yeah,
if you don't put them down. So
yeah. And every time that I think, okay, I will do it in 1 minute, I just forget every
yeah,
time. So yeah, it's really
yeah,
bad.
yeah. The music leaves fast. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
And also, so you guys are from the US, but this is a particular question because for sure, usually your place just make like an influence, really a huge influence for about what you will do with your music. But do you feel more connected with like US death metal or from the European scene?
It's a interesting question because the European scene has a lot of stuff that influenced me too that I actually didn't mention, but
Yeah.
like Finnish death metal is huge on me. Stuff like Pertinence, Funebre, Convulse, Demilick, that stuff was all very influential to me. So Finnish death metal, very, very much so. And then um, one of my favorite Spanish bands too, Avulsed. I love
Yeah.
Avulsed,
Absolutely.
and then gore grind influence from Spain as well. Hemorrhage. I'm very, very into that. I have some gore grind influences too, like Dead Infection. I see. There's so many, but
Yeah,
Yeah, of
sure, okay.
course.
but Dismember was really big in the Swedish scene for me. Dismember is my favorite Swedish death metal band, and they're a band that reminds me that it's okay to have some melodies sometimes in your music
Yeah,
too. Yeah, because it's cool. I've always liked it in like a band like Gorgasm, for example. Because I have to mention that too, because Sasha from Gorgasm played lead guitar on the third song on the album. So
okay.
Wow.
yeah, so I have to mention that too. But something I love that not everybody talks about a band like Gorgasm, which is just this brutal, just like
Yeah,
sadistic band, is that what Gorgasm does is they have these riffs that are chunky and they're going fast, but then they have melodic moments that are genuinely they almost sound beautiful, you know. Those guys
sure.
aren't gonna like to hear it, but they sound kind of nice.
Yeah, yeah,
But that was always something I kind of wanted to implement. So sorry to like make the answer a longer answer, but
No, no,
No,
probably
no,
no.
no.
probably it's hard to say between those two. I mean, like
Yeah,
I want to give you an answer though. I would probably say U.S. death metal overall.
sure.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
being there's just so much different death metal from the US. It's
Absolutely.
all over the place. So
Yeah.
and when US death metal gets heavy, it gets really fucking heavy. Sorry to curse, but you know,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
that's
I'll
serious.
add a point though. I think Europe has a better thrash and black metal
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, especially for the black metal stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, we got a few great black metal bands here, but
Sure.
no
I mean,
comparison to.
it's a
Yeah.
big community, and
Yeah, it
it
is.
makes
Yeah,
sense everywhere. Actually, no, no, but
yeah.
I mean, really, feel free to go and spread your answers because we love hearing a lot. So no
Oh
worries.
yeah, cool. Yeah.
I wanted to ask about instead the physical release. Like,
hmm
how do you I mean, what do you prefer? Like, if it's something that you like most, like vinyl, CDs, or
Cassettes also.
cassettes, or
hmm
how important are they compared to the digital platforms for you, particularly?
Well, I'm a huge collector. I've spent a lot of money that I've earned in my lifetime on music already. That and guitars, of course. But Uh, I'm I like cassettes. I have a lot of cassettes, but I mostly like CDs and vinyl. But I have probably an equal amount of both. But at the end of the day, vinyl is my favorite. It's the most fun to listen to, and it's got its own sound, And I don't know if probably if you're kind of newer to really listening to music, you can't tell a difference, but a very good mastered record. There's nothing that sounds better than that. Like
Yeah.
nothing. Like you could compare back to back, and digital will not sound as good as the physical thing. So
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
no,
Okay.
no. I don't know. It's like, yeah. I mean, it's the difference between a pixel and a
yeah,
camera.
Yeah.
It's
and
different.
it's another level of loving the music to me too,
Yeah,
because like when I fall in love with an album, which happens almost every day.
Yeah.
I'm one of the first things in my mind is like I need to get this. I need to hold this. I need to like look at it, read all the notes
yeah,
because it's like a lot of people like music, but I feel like loving music it's not quite as common. Like even in metal, I think but yeah, vinyl's just it's special, man. Like I
Yeah.
think
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't think you could replace it. So.
Yeah.
no, no, yeah. I mean, it's also like the fact that you follow the artist's view right from the beginning to the end, and sometimes
Yeah.
maybe I already said that, but I struggle with the shuffle every time. I forgot how to to change the not shuffle mode, and every time I'm like,
Yeah.
no. So
Yeah.
you don't listen to the
It is
fool,
not
right?
funny at
It's
all.
not funny. You're like, but I mean, yeah, it's me struggling with technology. Anyway,
Yeah,
And
it's funny.
talking about Dishumane, so are
hmm
there any visual, philosophical, or conceptual ideas that influence your songwriting?
Yes, there's quite a few. I'm kind of in this mix of it's interesting. So if I go over like the first three songs, the first one I wrote is a story I completely made up, slightly influenced from have either of you ever dabbled in any video games at all?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so you guys know the first Dark Souls, the very
yeah,
first one.
sure.
Yes, so lyrics are slightly influenced from that, and if any
okay,
Dark Souls fans who read that might pick up on it, but it's not very obvious. It's kind of hidden underneath, but that's where
Yeah,
the influence came from, and
that's cool.
but that was a completely made up story about just somebody going through an abyss and like killing all of these living things that they think are evil and finding out they're not evil basically, and they've become the evil they thought they were destroying. So that was kind of a idea. Second one is a true story of history about that one's kind of like about Roman soldiers fighting with British and just, you know,
Okay.
those
Yeah,
guys.
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what I want to lean more into is more like historical, um, religious-ish stuff because I don't really feel strongly, I don't like hate. I don't have like this hatred for some of the religions like some of the my other fellow bands do,
Yeah,
but I do have a lot of criticism to it. So the way I write songs is more about stuff that really goes on. I don't really dabble in talking about gods
yeah,
or uh or or stuff like that. And I don't make it exclusively about Christianity like most bands do. My idea is kind of to go after everybody. So
absolutely.
like yeah, so you know,
Yeah,
it's a little
Yeah,
controversial.
totally.
That's I know that can be a little bit controversial, but I've always thought that like how a lot of bands are like they're so quick to like go at Christianity, but these other religions they have nothing to say. So it's like I don't know. Hey, there's space for me to talk about
yeah,
it. So
yeah. It's
um,
amazing. Yeah,
It's a very nice yeah, yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
We like
Yeah,
that.
because there's so much horror in the real world that like you know I have endless influence just from stuff that you know you learn
Yeah,
about happening.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
because
and I
it
think
depends for who will write
mhm,
the lyrics. Because for someone, it's like the opposite. So they are kind
mhm,
of interested in evil stuff and start
Mm.
doing death metal. But for some
mhm.
of us, just like death metal, and after will write every kind of lyrics that they like. But music first,
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
The music has to be good because I don't I it's kind of a whole nother topic, but like I'm kind of one of those people like I don't really care about what bands lyrics sing about as long as the music is really good.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Like I could listen to a song that's like completely against my views as a human and I don't care as long as the music's great, you know?
yeah,
Like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
it's
Yes.
all about the riffs like you said.
Yeah, and
It's the language underneath the language.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, right.
Yes,
And
yes.
so, which day will the album will come?
It'll be August 7th this year. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Nice, nice.
So
And that'll have the cassettes, the records, and the CDs, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out too.
sure. And so you also after you will start with the live sessions, or
Yeah, we were planning on doing live shows. Yeah, I'm gonna say it here, but I'm not sure if Blood Harvest wanted to make the
no,
announcement
no,
or
no,
No, no, no, no
I
worries.
think it's yeah. I
No
won't
worries.
say that then, just in case, but yeah, but I would like to play like my idea would like to be like to start with some like West Coast runs, so like California, Nevada,
no.
Seattle, just do a short little tour before whatever we do because I'll just say like we do have plans to like eventually go over to Europe, of course, because
Yeah,
that's where Blood Harvest is and they would like us over there. So it's kind of
Yes,
cool.
sure.
of course.
Yeah.
Super nice. Yes. And like so this is a question about either your shows or
Hmm.
the past shows you have been, watching. I mean, you've been attended like
Hmm.
where you were present in a way. So like what is a show that it was really memorable for you? Like something completely crazy
Hmm.
or something that really, oh my God, that was so nice or it was so horrible. I mean, whatever comes to your mind. It was any particular experience that you would like to share?
Yeah. Could I share two? Yeah, because there's two very, very important moments I had. So the first one is, I think, a universal experience that anyone into death metal has, and that was the first time I saw Cannibal Corpse. That was a pretty big deal. I was just a teenager when I saw them for the first time, and I could not believe how many people were crowd surfing. I was getting kicked in the head. I mean, people were, but you know what? I loved every second of it. It's not a complaint. It was
No,
just
no, no,
Yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah,
amazing.
of course. Yes.
And I remember being a teenager, and I headbanged so hard in the front row, and I was windmilling with George Fisher, and like we made eye
Really?
contact, and we're just like, yeah. So it was pretty funny, and I remember, and still to this day, every show I go to. I try to get in the front, and then I headbang as hard as I possibly can because I want the band to receive the energy that they're giving back from the crowd, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so seeing Cannibal for the first time was insane, and just the crowd was amazing. And then another one was the one that really blew my mind. The best live concert I have ever seen was seeing Exhumed on
Okay.
their Decade Decades tour. I just I just could not believe how good they were live, to be honest, and I couldn't believe the energy of the place. And I will add to that too, like the smaller location, usually the better the crowd and like the
Yeah.
better the show. It's just Exhumed was insane though, and I got they had blood spraying everywhere too. It was just they had everything, and the way they played their instruments, it was like their instruments were just a piece of them. It's like they could play anything, and they were just. They were just surfing with it basically. It was
Sure.
perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
I have a really different question.
Mm.
So for sure you are. So this is the first work with this band, but just to
Mhm.
ask, is there any like splits or collaboration like planned it for the future, either locally or internationally?
If you can say.
Yeah,
Um,
if you can say, for sure.
yeah. Well, I can say because there's nothing officially planned,
Okay.
but I have bands in mind that I'd like to do a split with. Like, I would like to do a split with like Drawn and Quartered or something like that. That would be cool. Or another band on Blood Harvest, you know. I'd be open to do a split with pretty much any band that wants to. So, you know, I
Sure.
haven't talked about it with Blood Harvest yet, but it might be cool to do that.
Yeah,
I like splits myself, and usually the idea that a lot of splits have like a similar band on it, but I thought it would be cool to get like Dishumane on a split with like a more melodic band that's more like, you know, black metal maybe, and
Yeah.
then
sure,
you have that variety. So,
sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
And regarding side projects, like you and your,
Mhm.
I mean, also the rest of your band, can we talk a little bit about like the side project of you guys? What happens in the neighbors?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of other types of metal that I'd like to be making, and at the moment, I'm not really in a position where I can like go after those side projects quite yet. I have to finish like fully
Yeah.
getting, you know, my main band out there and, you know, and doing all that. But we've talked about it already. Me and Chuck especially, like me and him kind of get crazy with our ideas, and we have a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, but I would really I have like thrash metal songs and I have black metal songs that I would like to get out there someday, you know. Don't
Sure.
know how yet though, but we'll
Right.
see.
Absolutely. And so connected also with the Blood Harvest Records. So
Mhm.
you do you start like you were searching for a label, or they contact you? How it starts this collaboration?
Well, I sent the EP out to about 15 different labels.
Sure,
I
yeah.
even I, I even tried to send one to Relapse Records. Yeah, like that was gonna happen right now. But you know, you got to try. But
Yeah, sure.
the way I went with it is that I was pretty blown away because, you know, as a teenager and all my kids, like you're like getting on a label just sounds like, oh, that seems impossible when you're like when you're a teenager sometimes, you know. So that was always like a dream to get on like a metal record label in general. So sending out all the stuff, I got like six labels got back to me and they all really liked it and they all had nice things to say about it. But the thing is that Blood Harvest, Rodrigo from Blood Harvest, he wrote me
Yeah,
like a 3 paragraph response about how much he liked it. So I was like, I think I
yeah,
need to go with Blood Harvest. Like,
yeah.
'cause this guy
Absolutely.
really liked it. So it's like, if the label really likes what you're doing, they're probably going to put more effort into it. So
Sure.
I was like, this label's awesome. And I looked at their bands and I noticed they have a ton of great European death metal bands on their label. Not a lot of American ones though. So I was like, hey, like, you know, I'll join the pack, you know.
Sure.
But I want to add though that like Blood Harvest Records is you know, the way they operate is so professional and like there's such a it's such a nice experience to work with Blood Harvest and like I I just I don't think I'd want to be on any other label, so
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
pretty
Yeah.
happy with those guys.
Sure.
Yes. And so can you repeat where are you from? Like what is your city?
Oh yeah, I'm in a very small city right now, Gardnerville, Nevada. So this Nevada is not well known for death metal. There's like, can either of you
I
guys
was
think
gonna
of a
ask.
can you guys think of a death metal band from here? Probably not, right? And people who like live here can't think of one either, so it's fine. But um they
Amazing.
Yes.
that was kind of one of my things too. I was like thinking, I remember I talked to my drummer. I was like, "There's like no death metal bands here. Like we gotta be the one." Like,
Yeah.
so
No,
that
but
was kind of the
indeed,
idea too.
that's what I was I wanted to ask you, because I wanted to ask, like, how is the death metal scene in your place?
There isn't one.
Yeah. It's just Dishumane.
Yeah, yeah. There's no scene here.
Yeah.
So that's why I've had to travel so much, you know, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know, there's plans that like, you know, I might move eventually to make it easier, but yeah, as far as where I live, it's been there's not really a death metal scene here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like in the rock
Mhm.
festival, like,
Mhm.
and then that's metal.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There is in Las Vegas you have the Primitive Recordings, which is the Mortician shop, so that's
Oh,
cool.
okay.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
yeah, Mortician, you know, those guys live in Nevada now, so you have that. But as far as like a scene of bands doing anything, that's not happening here, you know.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I think that's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
for now.
yes, yes. I think
Yeah,
really, yeah. I mean, it was very, very nice
To meet you
to
for
meet
sure.
you, and I mean, thank you very much for being with us. It was really, really a pleasure. Thank you so
And
much,
thank you for
James.
your time for sure.
oh yeah, and likewise to you guys. Thanks for having me, and your guys' questions were awesome, so I
Oh,
Oh,
appreciate it.
thank you.
Yeah,
your answers were
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Nice.